The war room of the Zaxxon Empire glowed with purple light. King Vortex stood at the center, his four arms crossed over his massive chest. His scales shimmered as he looked at the holographic map floating before him. Every planet on the map showed the same color, red, the color of conquest. "Gentlemen," King Vortex said to his commanders, "we have won." The 12 generals around the table nodded. Their faces showed pride and satisfaction. For 300 years, the Zaxxon Empire had fought to control this sector of space. Now, only one small blue planet remained unconquered. "Earth," said General Krax, pointing at the tiny dot on the map. "The last obstacle." King Vortex laughed. The sound echoed through the metal walls like thunder. "Obstacle? That world is nothing. Their weapons are primitive. Their ships barely leave their own atmosphere. We will take it in less than one rotation." The commanders joined in the laughter. They had seen Earth's defenses, chemical rockets, nuclear weapons, technology that the Zaxxon Empire had abandoned thousands of years ago. It would be like crushing an insect. "When do we attack?" asked General Mord, the oldest of the commanders. "Tomorrow," King Vortex declared, "we will send the Third Fleet. 5,000 warships should be more than enough." 5,000? General Krax seemed surprised. "My king, that seems excessive for such a weak world." King Vortex's eyes narrowed. "I want no mistakes. We finish this war with overwhelming force. Then the entire sector will know the power of the Zaxxon Empire." The generals saluted. The meeting ended. They walked out talking about the upcoming victory celebration. Far across space, on the small blue planet called Earth, life continued as normal. People went to work. Children went to school. Nobody knew that tomorrow their world would face an alien invasion. In a military base in the mountains of Pakistan, Colonel Ahmed sat in his office. He was a serious man with gray in his hair and tired eyes. He had spent 30 years in service. Now he commanded the most secret facility in his country. A knock came at his door. "Enter," he said. A young lieutenant walked in. Her name was Sarah. She carried a folder marked with red stamps that said, "Top Secret." "Colonel, we received a message from the satellite network." Colonel Ahmed looked up. "What kind of message?" "An unusual one, sir. The Deep Space Monitoring System detected something. Multiple objects entering our solar system. Very fast, very large." The colonel stood up. His chair scraped against the floor. "Show me." They walked down long corridors. Their boots echoed on the concrete. They passed through 3 security checkpoints. Each one required eye scans and passwords. Finally, they reached the command center. The room was dark except for the glow of computer screens. Technicians sat at their stations, watching data scroll across monitors. A large screen on the wall showed a map of the solar system. "There," Lieutenant Sarah pointed. "See those red dots?" Colonel Ahmed counted them. 50, 100, 200. The dots kept appearing. "How many?" 5,000 and counting, sir," said a technician. "They entered our system 1 hour ago, moving at incredible speed." "Direction?" "Directly toward Earth." The room became silent. Everyone stared at the screen. The red dots moved closer. Colonel Ahmed felt cold. In all his years, he had never seen anything like this. "Contact the capital. Alert the Prime Minister. Then contact our allies. Everyone needs to know about this." "Sir, there's more," Lieutenant Sarah said quietly. "We tried to send out radar signals to see what these objects are. The signals bounced back. These things are huge. Each one is the size of a small city." "Ships," Colonel Ahmed whispered. "They're ships." Within hours, every nation on Earth knew. Emergency meetings happened in every capital. Presidents and prime ministers talked on secure lines. Military forces went to high alert. But deep down, everyone understood the truth. If these were hostile aliens with ships that size, Earth had no chance. In the Pakistan facility, Colonel Ahmed walked to a special room. This room had no windows. Only one door. Inside was a single computer terminal and a large metal vault built into the wall. He typed a password into the computer. The screen flickered. Text appeared. Project Bhatti. Status, standby. His hands shook as he reached for the vault. He had hoped he would never need to open it. The vault door was thick. It took all his strength to turn the wheel. The locks clicked open one by one. Inside the vault sat a single item. A small device, no bigger than a coin. It looked simple, just a circle of metal with a button in the center. Colonel Ahmed picked it up carefully. On the back, numbers were engraved. Bhatti, 180. He had memorized the file years ago when they gave him this post. Bhatti was the code name for something impossible, something that should not exist. A piece of technology that human scientists could not explain because humans had not built it. Nobody knew where it came from. Some said it was found in a crater in the desert 50 years ago. Others said a dying traveler gave it to a soldier. The truth was lost in classified documents in destroyed records. All they knew was what the file said. Bhatti 180 was a communication device, a way to call for help, but the file never said who would answer. Colonel Ahmed closed his fist around the device. Above him, 5,000 alien warships moved through space toward Earth. King Vortex probably already planned his victory speech, but the Zaxxon king did not know about Bhatti 180. Colonel Ahmed pressed the button. Nothing happened. Colonel Ahmed stared at the small device in his hand. The button was pressed down, but there was no sound, no light, no vibration, nothing. He pressed it again. Still nothing. Maybe it's broken, Lieutenant Sarah said from the doorway. She had followed him to the vault room. Colonel Ahmed turned the device over in his hands. After 50 years, perhaps it no longer worked. Or perhaps it had never worked at all. Maybe it was just a piece of junk that scared officers had turned into legend. Get back to the command center, he told Sarah. Monitor those ships. I want reports every 10 minutes. She saluted and left. Colonel Ahmed placed the device back in the vault. He felt foolish. What had he expected? That aliens would appear to save Earth? That some ancient piece of metal would solve everything? He walked back to his office and sat down. His computer screen showed news from around the world. Every channel talked about the approaching ships. Panic was starting. In some cities, people ran to bunkers. In others, they gathered in churches and mosques, in temples to pray. The military forces of Earth prepared for battle. Fighter jets took to the skies. Navy ships moved into formation. Missile silos opened. But everyone knew it was hopeless. How could chemical rockets fight ships that traveled between stars? On the Zaxxon command ship, King Vortex watched Earth grow larger on his screen. The blue planet spun slowly. He could see the white clouds and the brown continents. Beautiful world, said General Krax. Rich in water, good atmosphere. It will make an excellent colony. After we remove the natives, King Vortex added, they can work in the mines. The strong ones anyway. The weak ones are useless. The Third Fleet moved into orbit around Earth. 5,000 warships formed a ring around the planet. Each ship was armed with weapons that could crack continents. From space, they looked like metal moons. King Vortex opened a communication channel. His face appeared on every screen on Earth, every television, every computer, every phone. Billions of humans saw the alien king for the first time. His face was terrifying. Red eyes, black scales, teeth like knives. People of Earth, his voice boomed. I am King Vortex of the Zaxxon Empire. Your world now belongs to us. You have two choices, surrender and serve, or resist and die. You have one of your hours to decide. The transmission ended. In the Pakistan facility, Colonel Ahmed watched the broadcast with his officers. The room was silent. 1 hour, 60 minutes to decide the fate of humanity. What do we do, sir? Lieutenant Sarah asked. Before he could answer, every light in the facility went out. The computers died. The screens went black. Emergency lights flickered on, casting red shadows. "What happened?" Colonel Ahmed shouted. "Power failure," a technician called back. "Everything just shut down." "The backup generators?" "Not working either, sir." This was wrong. The facility had multiple power systems. All of them failing at once was impossible. Then Colonel Ahmed heard it. A sound like wind, but they were underground. There should be no wind. The sound grew louder. It became a hum, then a vibration. The walls shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. "Earthquake?" someone yelled. "No," Colonel Ahmed said quietly. He knew what this was. Somehow, he knew. The vibration stopped. The lights came back on. But they were different now. Brighter, cleaner. The computers restarted, but their screens showed strange symbols that nobody could read. "Sir, look at the main screen." The large display in the command center showed the solar system map again. The 5,000 red dots representing the Zaxxon fleet were still there. But now there was something else. One blue dot. Just one. But it was big. Much bigger than the red dots. "What is that?" Lieutenant Sarah whispered. The blue dot moved. It traveled from beyond Pluto to Earth orbit in seconds. Something that should have taken weeks happened in moments. In space, King Vortex saw it too. His command ship's alarm started screaming. "Report," he shouted. "My king, something just appeared," a Zaxxon officer said, his voice shaking. "Something big." The main viewer switched on. King Vortex stared. A ship hung in space near Earth. But calling it a ship was like calling an ocean a puddle. The thing was massive beyond understanding. It was shaped like a triangle, with smooth, dark metal that seemed to absorb light. Running along its surface were lines of blue energy that pulsed like a heartbeat. "Size?" King Vortex demanded. "My king, it's 300 kilometers long." The command room fell silent. The largest Zaxxon warship was 10 kilometers long. This thing was 30 times that size. "Where did it come from?" General Krax asked. "Unknown. It just appeared. No warp signature, no energy buildup. One moment, empty space, the next moment, that." King Vortex felt something he had not felt in a long time. Fear. But he pushed it down. He was the Zaxxon king. He had conquered 100 worlds. "Hail them," he ordered. "My king, we're trying. They're not responding to any frequency." "Then fire a warning shot. Let them know we're here." One of the Zaxxon warships turned its main cannon toward the mysterious vessel. The weapon charged. A ball of plasma shot through space, bright as a small sun. The blast hit the triangle ship's shield. The impact created a flash of blue light. Then nothing. The ship didn't even shake. The shield hadn't even flickered. "Again," King Vortex ordered. "All ships, fire." 5,000 warships opened fire at once. The space between Earth and the triangle ship filled with plasma bolts, missiles, and energy beams. It was enough firepower to destroy a planet. All of it hit the shield. The blue energy glowed brighter for a moment. Then the attack stopped. The triangle ship was completely undamaged. It had not moved. It had not returned fire. It simply floated there, as if 5,000 warships were nothing. Then the ship responded. A single beam of blue light shot out from the triangle's front point. It was thin, like a laser pointer. The beam touched one Zaxxon warship. The warship exploded. No fire, no debris. It simply ceased to exist. One moment a massive ship with 3,000 crew members, the next moment, nothing. King Vortex watched his screen in horror. The triangle ship had destroyed a Zaxxon warship with less energy than the Zaxxons used to cook food. "Retreat!" he screamed. "All ships, retreat!" But before the fleet could move, a voice came through every Zaxxon communication system. It was calm, cold, powerful. "Attention, Zaxxon Empire. This system is under protection. You have entered it with hostile intent. You will leave now." King Vortex found his voice. "Who are you? What gives you the right?" "I am Bhatti 180, Guardianship of the human species. The right was given long ago, before your empire existed. Before your species climbed from its caves, you will leave now. General Krax leaned close to King Vortex. My king, we should listen. Whatever that thing is, it's far beyond our technology. But King Vortex's pride burned hot. He had never retreated, never surrendered. He would not start now. We are 5,000 ships, he said. You are one. The humans called for help, but you've arrived too late. They are already ours. Final warning, the voice said. Leave now. King Vortex smiled, showing all his teeth. Attack! Destroy that ship! The Zaxxon fleet surged forward, all 5,000 ships, weapons blazing. Bhatti 180 began to move, and the real battle started. The triangle ship moved like nothing the Zaxxons had ever seen. It didn't accelerate slowly like normal ships. It simply was in one place, then another. No transition, no blur of motion, just instant repositioning. 5,000 warships surrounded it, firing from every direction. The space around Earth lit up like a deadly fireworks show. Plasma bolts, missiles, energy beams, kinetic rounds, everything the Zaxxon Empire had learned in 300 years of war. Bhatti 180 spun. The movement was graceful, almost lazy. As it turned, thin blue beams shot out from points all along its surface. Each beam touched a Zaxxon ship. 10 ships exploded, then 20, then 50. Impossible, General Krax shouted, watching the display. No ship can target that many enemies at once. But Bhatti 180 could. Its weapons fired faster than Zaxxon computers could track. Every shot found a target. Every target ceased to exist. King Vortex gripped his command throne. His claws dug into the metal. Use the Nova Bombs, now! Nova Bombs were the Zaxxon Empire's most powerful weapons. Each one could turn a planet's surface into glass. They carried 20 of them on the command ship. 6 Zaxxon destroyers broke formation. They flew straight at the triangle ship, Nova Bombs armed and ready. Bhatti 180 did not dodge. It waited until the destroyers were close. Then 6 beams shot out, thinner than the others. These beams were golden instead of blue. The Nova Bombs exploded, but not near Bhatti 180. The golden beams had triggered them early. The 6 destroyers vanished in 6 small suns. The explosions consumed hundreds of other Zaxxon ships that had been too close. Shields to maximum, King Vortex ordered. All ships focus fire on one point. We'll overwhelm its defenses. The Zaxxon fleet regrouped. 4,000 ships remained. They formed a sphere around Bhatti 180 and fired at the exact same spot on its shield. The focused attack was brilliant. The combined power of 4,000 warships hitting one point. It was a tactic that had broken enemy fleets before. The blue shield glowed brighter, brighter. It turned white. For a moment, King Vortex thought they were winning. Then Bhatti 180 did something new. The shield expanded. It grew from covering just the ship to covering everything within 1,000 kilometers. It passed through the Zaxxon ships like they were made of air. When the shield touched a Zaxxon ship, that ship stopped. Not destroyed, just stopped. Frozen in space. Weapons powered down, engines offline, life support barely functioning. In seconds, the entire Zaxxon Third Fleet was disabled. 4,000 warships hung in space like dead metal whales. Only King Vortex's command ship remained active. Bhatti 180 had left it untouched deliberately. My king, General Krax said quietly, we must surrender. King Vortex said nothing. His eyes stared at the triangle ship. Somewhere in his mind he understood. This was not a fight, this was a lesson. The mysterious ship was teaching the Zaxxon Empire its place in the universe. The voice came again. Your fleet is disabled. Your weapons are gone. Your crew lives, but only because I allow it. Do you understand now? King Vortex finally spoke. His voice was small. What are you? I am a guardian. I was placed in this system long ago to protect the humans, while they grew, while they learned, while they prepared. Prepared for what? For the day they would join the larger galaxy. That day is not today. You have interfered too early. But they're primitive, King Vortex said. Their technology is basic. They can barely leave their planet. By your standards, yes, but humanity is young. They have only existed as a unified species for a few thousand years. You judge them by what they are now, not what they will become. General Mord, who had been silent until now, spoke up. What will they become? There was a pause. When Bhatti 180 answered, something like amusement colored its voice. The humans are builders, dreamers. They imagine the impossible and then make it real. They have split atoms and walked on their moon. They have created thinking machines and cured diseases. And they did all of this while fighting among themselves. Imagine what they will do when they finally unite. So you protect them, King Vortex said bitterly, a powerful guardian watching over weak children. Yes, until they no longer need protection. That time comes sooner than you think. On Earth, billions of people watched the sky. They could see the flashes in orbit. They knew a battle was happening up there, but they could not see the details. In the Pakistan facility, Colonel Ahmed watched his screens with wonder. The command center had received a direct feed from Bhatti 180. They saw everything. Sir, this is incredible, Lieutenant Sarah said. That ship is defending us. Where did it come from? Colonel Ahmed looked at the small device now resting on his desk. I pressed the button, and it came. But how? Who built it? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. The voice of Bhatti 180 suddenly came through their speakers. Colonel Ahmed, can you hear me? Everyone in the command center froze. The ship was talking to them, directly to them. Yes, Colonel Ahmed said. We hear you. Good. Listen carefully. This incident will change your world forever. The humans now know they are not alone in the universe. They know hostile aliens exist. They will be afraid. Can you blame them? Colonel Ahmed asked. No, fear is natural. But fear can be useful. It can unite people, make them work together. Your species has always been strongest when facing a common threat. Lieutenant Sarah leaned toward the microphone. Are there more aliens out there, other than the Zaxxons? Millions of species, thousands of empires, some peaceful, some hostile. The galaxy is large and dangerous. Then what do we do? Colonel Ahmed felt very small. We're not ready for this. Our weapons are primitive. Our ships can't even travel to other stars. You will learn, you will grow, and I will watch. Will you stay? Sarah asked. Will you protect us if others come? Another pause. That depends. On what? On whether you prove worthy of protection. The humans who placed me here believed your species had great potential. But potential means nothing without action. You must earn your place in the galaxy. King Vortex's voice interrupted, broadcast on the same channel. This is foolish. Humans are violent, destructive. We have studied them. They fight constant wars. They destroy their own planet. These are the species you protect? Bhatti 180's response was sharp. The Zaxxon Empire has conquered 87 worlds. You have enslaved 43 species. You have destroyed 6 civilizations completely, and you lecture me about violence? Silence from King Vortex. Every young species is violent. The question is whether they grow beyond it. Humans have that capacity. I have watched them for 50,000 years. I have seen their progress. Slow, painful progress, but progress nonetheless. 50,000 years? Colonel Ahmed whispered. But our civilization is only 5,000 or 6,000 years old. Your current civilization, yes, but humans have existed much longer. I was placed here when your ancestors were still learning to make fire. Who placed you? Sarah asked the question everyone was thinking. Who built you? That information is restricted. You will learn when you are ready. In orbit, Bhatti 180 began to move again. It drifted toward King Vortex's command ship. The massive triangle ship made the Zaxxon vessel look like a toy. King Vortex, you will repair your ships. You will leave this system. You will never return. If any Zaxxon vessel enters this system again, I will destroy it instantly. Do you understand? King Vortex's pride was broken. His voice was quiet. Yes, we understand. Good, you have one solar day to leave. The blue shield released the Zaxxon ships. Power returned to them. Engines came back online. The fleet began to regroup, preparing to leave. But Bhatti 180 was not finished. One more thing, King Vortex. You will send a message to all the empires in this sector. Tell them about today. Tell them what happened when you attacked Earth. Tell them that humanity is protected. Why? The Zaxxon king asked. Why warn them? Because some species only learn through example. You will be that example. Colonel Ahmed watched as the Zaxxon fleet slowly moved away from Earth. Thousands of ships limping toward the edge of the solar system. A mighty empire defeated by a single guardian. What happens now? He asked. Bhatti 180's voice was gentle. Now humanity grows up. The Zaxxon fleet disappeared beyond Pluto after 18 hours. Bhatti 180 watched them go, its sensors tracking every ship until they entered faster than light travel and vanished. The Guardian ship remained in Earth orbit, silent now, waiting. On Earth, chaos turned into something else. Not peace exactly, but a strange calm. People emerged from bunkers. They looked at the sky differently now. They knew the truth. Humanity was not alone, and they were not the strongest. In Pakistan, Colonel Ahmed had not slept in 2 days. His command center had become the most important room on Earth. World leaders called constantly. Scientists begged for information. The media demanded answers. Sir, another call from Washington, Lieutenant Sarah said. The president wants to speak with you again. Colonel Ahmed rubbed his tired eyes. Tell him what I told the others. I know as much as they do, maybe less. He says it's urgent, something about the United Nations. Ahmed picked up the secure phone. This is Colonel Ahmed. The American president's voice came through. Colonel, we're holding an emergency session of the UN Security Council in 3 hours. Every nation wants to discuss Bhatti 180. We need you there. You're the only one who can communicate with it. I didn't communicate with it, I just pressed a button. That's more than anyone else did. Please, Colonel, the world needs answers. Ahmed looked at the small device on his desk, the one that had started everything. I'll be there. 6 hours later, he sat in a room with the most powerful people on Earth. Presidents, prime ministers, military generals, scientists, all of them watching him. The UN Secretary General spoke first. Colonel Ahmed, thank you for coming. We have many questions about Bhatti 180. I'll answer what I can, Ahmed said, but I don't know much. Let's start with the basics. How long has your country possessed the device that called it? About 50 years, maybe longer. The records are unclear. Where did it come from? We don't know. The file says it was found, but there are no details, no location, no date, just instructions on what to do if Earth was ever invaded. A Chinese general leaned forward. And you never tested it? Never tried to contact this guardian before? Would you? Ahmed asked. We didn't know what would happen. For all we knew, pressing that button might bring something worse than an invasion. A Russian scientist spoke up. I want to ask about the ship itself. The technology it displayed is centuries beyond ours, maybe thousands of years beyond. How is that possible? I don't know. But it said it's been here for 50,000 years. That means it was placed here when humans were still primitive. Who could have done that? An excellent question, a new voice said. Everyone turned. The voice came from the speakers in the room. It was Bhatti 180. You can hear us? The Secretary General asked. I can hear everything that happens on your planet, every radio signal, every phone call, every conversation. Don't worry, I do not listen to everything. That would be tedious, but I pay attention to important meetings like this one. The room fell silent. Finally, the American president spoke. We want to thank you for saving us. Humanity owes you a great debt. You owe me nothing, Bhatti 180 said. I was fulfilling my purpose. But who gave you that purpose? The Chinese general asked. Who built you? Who sent you here? I cannot tell you. Not yet. Why not? Because knowledge must be earned. If I told you everything, you would not appreciate it. You would not grow. Discovery is important for your species. An Indian scientist raised her hand. Can you at least tell us about yourself? What are you exactly? A ship? An artificial intelligence? Something else? All of those things and none of them. I am what you would call a self-aware machine. But I am also alive in ways you don't yet understand. I think. I feel. I make choices. Are there others like you? She asked. Yes, many others, scattered across the galaxy, each one watching over a young species. The room erupted with questions, everyone talking at once. Bhatti 180 waited patiently until the Secretary General called for order. Please, one at a time. We need to approach this systematically. A Japanese diplomat stood. Bhatti 180, you said you've been watching humanity for 50,000 years. What have you observed? I have watched you grow from scattered tribes into a global civilization. I have seen you discover fire, invent writing, build cities. I have watched you make the same mistakes over and over. Wars, slavery, genocide. But I have also seen you create beauty, art, music, philosophy. You are a species of contradictions. And what do you think of us? The British Prime Minister asked quietly. There was a pause. I think you have potential, great potential. You are still young, still learning, but you possess something rare. What's that? Hope. Even in your darkest moments, humans hope for better. That quality is precious. Some species lose it as they advance. They become cynical, cruel, but you cling to hope like a lifeline. Colonel Ahmed spoke for the first time since the conversation began. You said we must prove worthy of protection. What does that mean? It means you must show that you can mature as a species, that you can move beyond your violent past, that you can work together instead of fighting each other. And if we can't, then I will leave. I will remove my protection, and you will face the galaxy alone. There are many species like the Zaxxons out there. Some are worse. The French president looked worried. How long do we have to prove ourselves? That depends on you. It could be decades. It could be centuries. I will know when I see it. What are you looking for exactly? The German chancellor asked. What signs? Unity. Not perfect unity, that's impossible, but the ability to work together for common goals. Right now, your world is divided. Hundreds of nations, thousands of competing interests. You fight over resources, over land, over beliefs. That must change. The Russian president frowned. You want us to form one world government? No, I don't care about your political structures. But you must learn to cooperate, to see yourselves as one species instead of many tribes. The Zaxxons attacked Earth, not individual countries. The galaxy will not care about your borders. Lieutenant Sarah, who had accompanied Colonel Ahmed, raised her hand nervously. Can I ask something? Of course. Why were you placed here? I mean, why specifically protect humans? There must be billions of species in the galaxy. What makes us special? Another pause, longer this time. The ones who built me believed humanity would be important someday. They saw something in your DNA, in your culture, in the way you think. They believed you would contribute something unique to the galaxy. What contribution? I don't know. They didn't tell me. Perhaps they didn't know themselves. Potential is unpredictable. The Australian Prime Minister stood. Let me ask a practical question. What happens now? Do we just go back to normal life? Pretend this didn't happen? You can't. Bhatti 180 said simply. Everything has changed. You know aliens exist now. You know you're not safe. You know your technology is primitive compared to others. These facts will reshape your civilization. How? You will unite faster than you would have otherwise. Fear is a powerful motivator. Nations that were enemies will become allies. Resources that went to fighting each other will go to advancing science. You will reach for the stars with new urgency. A Saudi Arabian delegate spoke. Will you help us? Share your technology with us? No. Why not? If you want us to advance, why not give us the tools? Because tools given are not appreciated. You must build your own technology, make your own discoveries. That is how species grow strong. If I gave you everything, you would become dependent, weak, unable to stand on your own. But we're so far behind, the delegate protested. The Zaxxons had faster than light travel, energy weapons, shields. We have none of that. You will develop it, faster than you think. Humans are excellent at reverse engineering. You saw Zaxxon technology. Your scientists are already analyzing the data. Within 50 years, you will have ships that can reach other stars. The room buzzed with excitement. 50 years seemed impossibly fast. Colonel Ahmed had one more question. What will you do? Will you stay in orbit? For now, yes. I will remain visible, a reminder to you and to anyone watching. But eventually, I will hide again, resume my watch from the shadows. You won't see me, but I will be there. And if another species attacks, then I will reveal myself again, but I hope that won't be necessary. The message King Vortex will spread should keep most threats away, at least for a while. The meeting continued for hours, questions and answers, plans and strategies. By the end, a consensus had emerged. Earth would form an alliance, not a government, but a cooperation. Nations would pool resources to advance technology, to prepare for the day when humanity would join the galactic community. It would be difficult. Old rivalries and hatreds didn't disappear overnight. But Bhatti 180 was right. Fear changed everything. The fear of being conquered, of being enslaved, of being destroyed by powers beyond imagination. Colonel Ahmed returned to Pakistan exhausted. As his plane flew over the mountains, he looked up at the stars. Somewhere up there, Bhatti 180 watched, waiting, judging. Humanity's test had begun. Colonel Ahmed was not a colonel anymore. 10 years after the Zaxxon invasion, he wore the uniform of a general. His hair had gone completely white, but his eyes were sharp as ever. He stood in the command center of Orbital Station 1, humanity's first permanent space station beyond the moon. The station was massive, built from resources mined from asteroids. It held 10,000 people, scientists, engineers, soldiers, and their families. General Ahmed, the Mars colony is reporting in, a young officer said. Her name was Chen. She had been just a child when the Zaxxons came. Put them through. A screen flickered to life. It showed a man in a pressure suit standing inside a dome. Behind him, the red surface of Mars stretched to the horizon. Olympus base to Orbital 1. Construction of Dome 7 is complete. We now have housing for 5,000 colonists. Ahmed nodded. Excellent work. How is the terraforming progressing? Slowly, but we're making progress. The atmosphere is thickening. Another 100 years and Mars might be breathable. 100 years. It seemed like forever. But it was nothing compared to the 50,000 years Bhatti 180 had watched over Earth. After the invasion, everything had changed. Nations that had been enemies for centuries put aside their differences. The United Earth Alliance formed within a year. Not a single government, but a framework for cooperation. Resources pooled, knowledge shared, all with one goal: advance, grow stronger, never be helpless again. The progress was incredible. Scientists worked day and night, studying the scan data from the Zaxxon ships. They couldn't build anything like Bhatti 180. That technology was still far beyond them. But they could understand the basics of what the Zaxxons had used. 5 years after the invasion, humanity launched its first faster-than-light ship, a small vessel, barely big enough for 10 crew members. But it worked. It traveled to Alpha Centauri and back in 3 months. The crew returned as heroes. Now, 10 years later, Earth had a fleet of 20 FTL ships. Small compared to the Zaxxons, slow compared to Bhatti 180, but functional. Humanity could reach the stars. "General, we have a situation," Lieutenant Chen said. "One of our scout ships just returned from the Sirius system. They encountered something." Ahmed's stomach tightened. What kind of something? A ship, not human, not Zaxxon, something new. Hostile? Unknown. They're requesting permission to approach Earth. They say they come in peace. Ahmed immediately opened a channel. "Bhatti 180, are you listening?" The Guardian's voice responded instantly. "I am. We have visitors. Do you know about them?" "Yes, they are the Valari, a trading species. They heard about what happened with the Zaxxons. They're curious about humanity. Can we trust them?" "The Valari are generally peaceful, but trust must be earned. Receive them with courtesy, but caution." Ahmed ordered the fleet to yellow alert. Not hostile, but prepared. The alien ship was directed to Orbital Station 1. When it arrived, Ahmed watched it approach through the observation window. The Valari ship was beautiful. Smooth curves, glowing lights. It looked more like art than technology. A shuttle detached from the ship. It docked with the station. Ahmed went to the airlock with a security team. The door opened. 3 aliens walked through. They were tall and thin. Their skin was silver. Their eyes were large and dark. They moved gracefully, almost floating. Each one wore a garment that seemed to shift colors. The lead alien spoke. The words came through a translator device at its belt. "Greetings. I am Merchant Thal of the Valari Trade Collective. We come seeking commerce and knowledge." Ahmed stepped forward. "I am General Ahmed of the United Earth Alliance. Welcome to our station." They moved to a meeting room. The Valari sat on one side of the table, Ahmed and his officers on the other. "Your species has caused quite a stir in this sector," Thal said. "Word has spread about the Zaxxon defeat." "We didn't defeat them. Bhatti 180 did. But you survived. That's what matters. Most species the Zaxxons encounter don't survive." Thal's eyes moved to the window, where Bhatti 180 could be seen in the distance. "Your guardian is legendary. We knew it existed, but we thought it was a myth." "You knew about it?" Ahmed was surprised. "Stories have circulated for thousands of years. A mysterious protector watching over a young species on a blue world. Many thought it was just a legend used to scare expansionist empires. Now we know the truth." Another Valari spoke. "We're curious about humans. What kind of species has such a powerful guardian?" "We're still learning that ourselves," Ahmed said honestly. 10 years ago, we barely had a space program. Now we have colonies on Mars and the Moon, stations throughout our system, ships that can reach other stars." "Impressive progress," Thal said. "That's actually why we're here. We want to trade with you. What do you have that we need?" "Knowledge, star charts, information about other species, technology that will accelerate your development. In exchange, we want something humans possess." "What's that?" "Art, music, stories. Human culture is fascinating. You create beauty even in the midst of struggle. That's rare." Ahmed had not expected this. "You want to trade technology for art? The galaxy has plenty of technology. Beauty is harder to find." Thal leaned forward. "We've studied your transmissions, your music, your films, your books. They show a species with deep emotions, strong creativity. Those qualities have value." Over the next weeks, negotiations continued. The Valari were patient and fair. They offered star charts showing safe routes through nearby space, information about which species were friendly and which to avoid, basic technology that would help humanity advance. In return, Earth gave them archives, music from every culture, films spanning a century, books in hundreds of languages. The Valari were delighted, but not everyone on Earth was happy about the aliens. "General, we're getting reports of protests," Chen said one day. "Some people are angry we're allowing aliens onto the station." Ahmed sighed. He had expected this. "What are they saying?" "That we can't trust any aliens after what the Zaxxons did, that we should stay isolated, keep our culture to ourselves. Schedule a press conference. I'll address their concerns." That evening, Ahmed spoke to cameras broadcasting across Earth and its colonies. "I understand the fear. The Zaxxons traumatized us. They showed us we're vulnerable, but we cannot let fear make us isolate ourselves. The galaxy is vast. Millions of species exist out there. Some hostile, yes, but many are peaceful. Some, like the Valari, want to be friends. We must learn to tell the difference." He paused, choosing his words carefully. Bhatti 180 told us we must prove worthy of protection. That means growing up as a species. Children hide from the world. Adults engage with it. We cannot stay children forever. The speech helped. Not everyone agreed, but enough did. Trade with the Valari continued. Other species began to arrive. Not many, just a few. Word had spread that Earth was under Bhatti 180's protection. That made humans interesting. Some aliens were curious. Others wanted to trade. A few just wanted to meet the species that had such a powerful guardian. Each contact brought new knowledge, new technology, new perspectives. Humanity absorbed it all like a sponge. Ahmed watched from Orbital Station 1 as more and more ships arrived. Earth was becoming a hub, a meeting place. Humans were learning galactic languages, cultural norms, trading customs. "We're growing up," he said to Chen one day. "Sir, that's what Bhatti 180 wanted, for us to mature, join the galactic community. Look at us now. 10 years ago we were alone. Now we have friends, trading partners, allies. Do you think we've proven ourselves?" Ahmed looked at the distant shape of Bhatti 180. The Guardian ship still floated near Earth, watching. "I don't know, but we're trying." That night, Ahmed returned to his quarters. He sat alone looking at old photos, pictures from 10 years ago. The panic, the fear, the desperate press of a button. His communication panel beeped. A message from Bhatti 180. "General Ahmed, I wanted to speak with you." "I'm listening." "I've been watching your progress. You've done well, better than I expected." "Thank you, but we still have far to go." "Yes, but you're on the right path. The Valari like you. Other species are taking notice. You're building a reputation as a species worth knowing." "Is that enough? To prove ourselves worthy?" Bhatti 180 paused. "Not yet, but you're close. There's one more test coming." Ahmed felt cold. "What kind of test?" "A difficult one. Soon you'll face a choice. How you respond will determine your future, and whether I continue to protect you." "Can you tell me more?" "No. Tests only work if you don't know they're happening. But I have faith in humanity. You've surprised me before. Perhaps you'll surprise me again." The communication ended. Ahmed sat in the darkness thinking. Somewhere out in the galaxy, a test was coming. A choice that would define humanity's future. He looked at the stars through his window. They didn't seem quite as far away as they once had. Whatever was coming, humanity would face it. Together. They had no other choice. The test came 3 months later. General Ahmed was reviewing supply reports when the alarm started. Red lights flashed throughout Orbital Station 1. The warning klaxon echoed through every corridor. "General, we have multiple ships entering the system." Lieutenant Chen's voice was urgent. 20 vessels, unknown configuration." Ahmed ran to the command center. The main screen showed the approaching fleet. The ships were dark and angular. Nothing like the smooth curves of the Valari or the brutal efficiency of the Zaxxons. "Identification?" Ahmed demanded. "They're broadcasting. It's the Korath Empire. They're requesting permission to speak with our leadership." Ahmed had heard of the Korath. The Valari had warned him about them. They were slave traders, raiders. They captured members of primitive species and sold them across the galaxy. Open a channel. Let's see what they want. A face appeared on the screen. The Korath commander had gray skin, 6 eyes, and a mouthful of sharp teeth. Its voice was rough and grinding. Humans, I am Commander Zek of the Korath Empire. We come to make you an offer. We're listening, Ahmed said carefully. We know you're a young species, protected by the mysterious guardian. But protection has a price, doesn't it? You're trapped. You can't expand without the guardian's permission. You can't make your own choices. Get to the point. We're offering you freedom. Join the Korath Empire voluntarily. Become part of our collective. We'll give you technology far beyond what you have now. We'll give you weapons, ships, everything you need to become a true power in the galaxy. In exchange for what? Commander Zek's smile showed all its teeth. Loyalty, service, some of your people to work in our industries. A small price for everything we offer. Ahmed's jaw clenched. You mean slavery? We prefer the term contracted labor. Your people would work for us for a period, 20 years, then they'd be free to return to Earth. It's a fair arrangement. And if we refuse, then you remain children, forever under the Guardian's watch, never truly free, never masters of your own destiny. Zek leaned forward. The Guardian won't let you make mistakes, won't let you fight your own battles. It keeps you safe, but it keeps you weak. Is that what you want? Ahmed looked at his officers. They stared back, waiting for his decision. He could feel the weight of it. This was the test. Bhatti 180 had warned him. We need time to discuss this, Ahmed said. You have 1 solar day, then we leave, with or without an agreement. The transmission ended. Sir, what do we do? Chen asked. Call an emergency council. Every world leader, every colony governor, everyone needs to weigh in on this. Within hours, representatives from across Earth and its colonies gathered in virtual conference. Presidents, prime ministers, colony leaders, all of them looked worried. The American president spoke first. This is clearly a trap. The Korath are slavers. They'll take our people and never return them. But they have a point, the Chinese premier said quietly. We are dependent on Bhatti 180. What happens when it leaves? When we have to stand on our own? The Guardian said we need to prove ourselves, the Indian Prime Minister added. Maybe part of that is standing without its help. The Mars colony governor disagreed. We're not ready. Our fleet is tiny compared to galactic powers. We'd be slaughtered without protection. Arguments flew back and forth. Some wanted to accept the Korath offer. Others wanted to refuse. A few suggested asking Bhatti 180 what to do. Ahmed listened to it all. Finally, he spoke. We can't ask the Guardian. This is our test, our choice. We have to decide what humanity values more, safety or freedom, protection or independence. It's not that simple, the Russian president said. This isn't about abstract principles. This is about survival. If we refuse the Korath and anger them, they might attack. Let them, said the Australian Prime Minister. Bhatti 180 would protect us. Would it? Ahmed asked quietly. This is a test. What if part of the test is seeing whether we'll stand up for ourselves? What if the Guardian wants us to fight our own battles? The room fell silent. The European Union representative spoke. General Ahmed, you've worked with Bhatti 180 more than anyone. What do you think it wants from us? Ahmed thought about the Guardian's words over the past 10 years. About proving worthy, about growing up, about unity and courage. I think it wants us to be strong, not just in weapons or technology, but in character. The Korath are testing us, seeing if we'll compromise our values for easy power. If we accept their offer, if we give them even one human as a slave, we fail the test. We show we're willing to sacrifice our own for convenience. But we're not strong enough to fight them, someone protested. Maybe that's not the point. Maybe the point is standing for what's right even when we're weak. Maybe that's what the Guardian means by proving worthy. The debate continued for hours. Voices raised, tempers flared, but slowly a consensus emerged. Not unanimous, but clear enough. They would refuse the Korath offer. When the solar day ended, Commander Zek appeared on the screen again. Well, what is your answer? Ahmed stood straight, in full uniform. Behind him, the flags of the United Earth Alliance. The human race rejects your offer. We will not trade our people for technology. We will not compromise our freedom for power. If that means we grow slower, so be it. Some prices are too high. Zek's 6 eyes narrowed. Foolish, you choose weakness. No, we choose dignity. You'll regret this. The galaxy is cruel to weak species. Then we'll get stronger on our own terms. Zek laughed. It was an ugly sound. Very well, but know this. The Korath remember insults. One day your guardian will leave. When that day comes, we'll return. And you'll wish you'd accepted our generous offer. The Korath fleet turned and left the system. Ahmed watched them go, feeling the tension drain from his body. Did we do the right thing? Chen asked. I hope so. Bhatti 180's voice came through the speakers. General Ahmed, I need to speak with you. Alone. Ahmed went to a private communication room. I'm here. You faced your test. You chose well. So we passed? Yes. The Korath were sent by me. Ahmed felt shock run through him. What? Not directly. I didn't command them, but I allowed them to come. I knew they would make that offer. I wanted to see how you'd respond. That's manipulative. Yes, it is, but necessary. I needed to know if humans would sacrifice their own people for advancement. Some species would. They'd rationalize it, tell themselves it was for the greater good. But you didn't. You held to your principles even when it was hard. Ahmed felt anger mixing with relief. What if we'd failed? What if we'd accepted their offer? Then I would have stopped the Korath from taking anyone. But I would have left. I would have removed my protection and let humanity face the consequences of their choice. That seems harsh. Perhaps, but I'm not here to coddle you. I'm here to help you grow. Sometimes growth requires hard choices. Ahmed sat down, suddenly exhausted. What happens now? Now we move to the next phase. You've proven your values. Next, you must prove your capability. Can humanity stand on its own? Can you defend yourselves without me? We're not ready. You're more ready than you think. In 10 years, you've accomplished what takes most species 50. Your technology is advancing rapidly. Your people are united in ways they never were before. You're almost there. Almost? Yes, one more step, one more challenge, and then I can leave knowing you'll be safe. When? Soon. Be ready, General. The final test will be the hardest. The communication ended. Ahmed sat in silence, processing everything. They'd passed one test, but another was coming. He returned to the command center. Chen looked at him with questions in her eyes. Tell the fleet to increase training, Ahmed said. Double our patrols, accelerate all research and development programs, and send a message to every colony, every station, every ship. What message, sir? Tell them to prepare. Tell them the easy part is over. Lieutenant Chen nodded and began sending orders. Around the station, people moved with new urgency. The brief moment of relief was gone. Now came the hard work. On Earth below, factories worked around the clock. Shipyards built new vessels. Training centers prepared soldiers and pilots. Humanity was racing against time, preparing for a test they couldn't see coming. Bhatti 180 watched it all from orbit. The great triangle ship observed every human on every world, analyzing, judging, waiting. The final test was indeed coming. and it would determine whether humanity joined the galactic community as equals or remained children forever. General Ahmed looked at the stars and wondered what form the test would take. He didn't have to wonder long. 3 weeks later, the sensors detected something at the edge of the system. Something massive. Something that made the Zaxxon fleet look small. The real challenge had arrived. The fleet that entered the solar system was beyond anything humanity had encountered. 100 massive ships, each one bigger than a city. They moved in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming with weapons and armor. "Identification coming through," Lieutenant Chen reported, her voice shaking. "It's the Draxian Armada. They're transmitting on all frequencies." The main screen flickered. A face appeared. Not like the Zaxxons or the Korath. This alien was beautiful in a terrible way. Pale blue skin, eyes that glowed white, features that were almost human but wrong in subtle ways. "Humans of Earth," the alien said. Its voice was smooth like silk. "I am High Admiral Kresh of the Draxian Empire. We have come to claim this system." General Ahmed stepped forward. "This system is under protection. You need to leave." "Protection?" Kresh smiled. "You mean the Guardian ship? Bhatti 180? We know all about it. That's why we're here." "I don't understand." "The Guardian protects you, but protection can be manipulated." Kresh's smile widened. "We're not here to attack Earth directly. We're here to claim the outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, the asteroid belt, all the resources beyond Mars' orbit." Ahmed felt ice in his stomach. "Those are part of our system, but not part of Earth. The Guardian was placed here to protect your planet and your species, not every rock floating in space. We've studied the ancient laws. We know the Guardian's limitations. You're using a loophole. We prefer to call it intelligent strategy. We'll mine the outer system, take everything of value, and there's nothing you can do about it. You don't have the strength to stop us, and the Guardian can't interfere because we're not threatening Earth directly." The transmission ended. Ahmed immediately opened a channel to Bhatti 180. "Did you hear that?" "Yes," the Guardian's voice was calm. "Can they do this? Can they exploit a loophole in your programming?" "Yes, my mandate is specific. Protect Earth and its human inhabitants. The outer planets are technically not part of that mandate." "But there are resources. Our system." "Legally, by ancient galactic law, unclaimed resources can be harvested by any species capable of doing so. Earth has mining operations on the asteroids and some of Jupiter's moons, but you haven't formally claimed the entire outer system." "That's insane. We were going to expand there eventually." "Eventually is not now. The Draxians are exploiting that gap. It's clever." Ahmed's mind raced. "What do we do?" "That's not for me to decide. This is your test, General. The Draxians are not attacking you directly. They're simply taking resources you can't defend. How you respond will determine your future." "Some test. We can't win. Their fleet outnumbers ours 5-1. Their technology is more advanced. If we fight, we'll lose." "Perhaps, but fights aren't always won with weapons." The Guardian fell silent. Ahmed knew he would get no more help from that direction. He called an emergency council. Again, world leaders gathered virtually. This time, the panic was worse. They could see the Draxian fleet on their screens. Already, the alien ships were spreading through the outer system, setting up mining operations. "We have to do something," the American president said. "If we let them take our resources, we'll never catch up technologically. We'll be stuck as a minor species forever." "But what can we do?" the Japanese Prime Minister asked. "Fight? We'll be destroyed." "Maybe we can negotiate," suggested the European Union representative. "Offer them a deal. Shared resources instead of them taking everything." Ahmed shook his head. "They won't negotiate. They have all the power. Why would they share?" "Then we're helpless," someone said. "No." The voice came from an unexpected source. Dr. Sarah Chen, Lieutenant Chen's mother. She was Earth's top scientist, leader of the research division that had been studying alien technology. Dr. Chen? Ahmed prompted. We're not helpless. We're clever. The Draxians might have better weapons, but we have something they don't. What's that? Home field advantage. This is our system. We know every rock, every moon, every asteroid. We've been mapping it for decades. Ahmed began to understand. Go on. The Draxians are setting up mining operations on Jupiter's moons and in the asteroid belt. Those operations require massive equipment, slow-moving equipment, equipment that's vulnerable. You want us to attack their mining operations? Not attack, sabotage, hit and run. Make it expensive and difficult for them to extract resources. Don't fight their warships, fight their economy. The African Union representative leaned forward. Guerrilla warfare, in space. Exactly. We can't win a direct fight, but we can make staying here cost more than it's worth. The Draxians are opportunists. If the profit goes away, so will they. Debate erupted. Some leaders liked the idea. Others thought it was too risky. What if the Draxians retaliated against Earth? They won't, Dr. Chen said confidently. Bhatti 180 would stop them. The Guardian can't prevent them from mining the outer system, but it can prevent them from attacking Earth. That's still protected. She's right, Ahmed said. The Draxians are trapped by the same loophole they're exploiting. They can mine, but they can't attack us in retaliation. Slowly, the plan took shape. Humanity's small fleet would split into rapid strike groups. They would target mining equipment, supply lines, and fuel depots. Always moving, never staying in one place long enough for the Draxian warships to catch them. This could take years, the Chinese premier warned. Then it takes years, Ahmed replied. The alternative is giving up our system without a fight. The vote was taken. The decision was made. Humanity would fight. But not with honor and glory, with cunning and persistence. The first strike happened 3 days later. A human frigate appeared near one of the Draxian mining platforms on Io, Jupiter's moon. The frigate launched missiles at the platform's power generators. The generators exploded. The platform went dark. Before the Draxian warships could respond, the human frigate jumped to FTL and vanished. The Draxians sent 2 battleships to guard the platform while repairs were made. So the humans struck a different target, a supply convoy heading to Titan. 3 human ships against 5 Draxian cargo vessels. The fight was quick and brutal. The cargo ships were destroyed. The human ships disappeared before the Draxian military arrived. High Admiral Kresh was furious. He sent more warships to guard more targets. But the human strike groups were like ghosts. They appeared, struck, and vanished. Always moving, always unpredictable. How are they doing this? Kresh demanded of his officers. Our sensors should detect them. They're using the asteroid belt as cover, an officer explained. Hiding among the rocks. Our sensors can't distinguish their ships from the natural debris. Then clear the belt, destroy every asteroid. High Admiral, that would take decades. There are millions of asteroids. Kresh slammed his fist on the command table. These humans are insects. How are they causing us so much trouble? The answer was simple. The humans were desperate, creative, and intimate with their home system. They knew hiding spots the Draxians would never find. They used solar radiation to mask their heat signatures. They hid in the magnetic fields of the gas giants. Weeks turned into months. The Draxian mining operations continued, but at great cost. For every ton of resources extracted, they lost ships and equipment worth twice that. The math was clear. This venture was becoming unprofitable. General Ahmed watched the reports with grim satisfaction. They were losing ships too. Good people dying in these strikes. But they were winning the war of attrition. Lieutenant Chen entered the command center one day with news. General, we're receiving a transmission from High Admiral Kresh. He wants to negotiate. Ahmed allowed himself a small smile. Put him through. Kresh's beautiful face appeared on the screen. He looked tired, frustrated. General Ahmed, I'm prepared to discuss terms. I'm listening. We'll withdraw from the system, abandon our mining operations, on one condition. What condition? You formally claim the entire solar system, register it with the Galactic Council, make it clear that all resources here belong to humanity. If you do that, no other species can legally mine here without your permission. Ahmed was surprised. Why would you help us do that? Because then we won't look like fools for leaving. We'll look like we respected legal boundaries. Politics, General. Image matters. And if we refuse, if we keep fighting, then I'll keep sending ships until your fleet is destroyed. It might cost me more than this system is worth, but I'll do it out of spite. Is that what you want? Ahmed thought about it. Bhatti 180 had been silent throughout this entire conflict. Not interfering, watching. This was the test. How would humanity handle a situation where they were outmatched but not powerless? We accept your terms, Ahmed said, but with one addition. You help us register with the Galactic Council, sponsor our application for recognition. Kresh's eyes narrowed. You want access to the wider galaxy. Yes, we've proven we're not helpless. We defended our territory against a superior force. That should count for something. A long pause. Then Kresh smiled. You're clever, General. Very well. I'll sponsor your application. The Galactic Council meets in 6 months. I'll arrange for human representatives to attend. And you'll withdraw immediately? We're already beginning the process. By this time next week, the Draxian Armada will be gone. The transmission ended. The command center erupted in cheers. They had won, not through superior firepower, but through strategy and determination. Ahmed felt Bhatti 180's presence in his mind before the Guardian spoke. Well done, General. Did we pass your test? Yes, you proved humanity can stand on its own. You faced an impossible situation and found a solution. You used your strengths to counter their advantages. That's what survival in the galaxy requires. What happens now? Now, I leave. Ahmed felt a pang of sadness. The Guardian had protected them for so long. Will we ever see you again? Perhaps, if you need me. But I don't think you will. You're ready to walk on your own. What if we fail? What if we make mistakes? You will make mistakes. That's part of growth. But you'll learn from them. That's what I've observed over 50,000 years. Humans stumble, fall, but always get back up. That resilience will serve you well. Through the observation window, Ahmed watched the Great Triangle ship begin to move. Bhatti 180 drifted away from Earth, growing smaller and smaller. Then it vanished, not destroyed, just gone, as if it had never been there. Earth was alone in the galaxy for the first time in 50,000 years, but not helpless, not weak, ready to face whatever came next. 6 months after Bhatti 180 left, General Ahmed stood in front of a mirror, adjusting his uniform. Not a military uniform this time, a formal diplomatic suit, specially designed for humanity's first official appearance before the Galactic Council. You look nervous, Lieutenant Chen said. She was coming with him as part of the human delegation. I am nervous. We're about to represent our entire species to thousands of alien civilizations. The pressure is considerable. The delegation consisted of 12 humans, Ahmed as military representative, Dr. Sarah Chen as chief scientist, representatives from major world governments, linguists, cultural experts, the best humanity had to offer. Their ship, the Endeavour, was one of the newest in the fleet, sleek, fast, and equipped with technology reverse-engineered from the Zaxxon data and improved with knowledge from the Valari. It wasn't as advanced as most galactic ships, but it was respectable. The journey to the Galactic Council station took 3 weeks. The station was located in neutral space, equidistant from several major empires. As the Endeavour approached, the human crew stared in wonder. The station was massive, a sphere 50 kilometers in diameter. Its surface glowed with lights from thousands of docking bays. Ships of every conceivable shape and size flew around it like insects around a lamp. "How many species are represented here?" Ahmed asked. "Our information says about 8,000, Dr. Chen replied, though not all are members of the council. Many are observers or petitioners like us." The Endeavour docked. The human delegation walked down the ramp into a world unlike anything Earth had ever seen. The docking area alone was enormous. Hundreds of species moved through it. Some walked on 2 legs like humans, others flew, some slithered. A few floated in containment fields filled with different atmospheres. The noise was incredible. Thousands of voices speaking thousands of languages. "Stay close," Ahmed told his team. "Try not to stare." An official approached them. It was tall and blue with 4 arms. A translator device at its belt converted its speech to English. "Human delegation? I am Coordinator Vel. I'll be your guide. Please follow me." They walked through corridors that stretched beyond sight. The walls displayed constantly changing images and information in languages Ahmed didn't recognize. Every few meters they passed aliens of different species. Some glanced at the humans with curiosity, others ignored them completely. "You're causing quite a stir," Coordinator Vel said. "Word has spread about the species that defeated the Draxian Armada." "We didn't defeat them. We negotiated," Ahmed corrected. "Same thing to most species. The Draxians are known for being stubborn. The fact that they withdrew at all is remarkable." Vel led them into a large waiting area. "Your hearing is scheduled for tomorrow. For now, you may rest here. Food and accommodations have been arranged." The next day, the human delegation entered the council chamber. Ahmed's breath caught. The chamber was circular and vast. Thousands of seats rose in tiers around a central platform. Each seat held a representative from a different species. The air hummed with translation devices, converting speech into thousands of languages simultaneously. At the highest tier sat the council elders, 5 ancient beings who governed the Galactic Council. Ahmed had read about them. They were from species so old that their origins were lost in legend. "The human delegation may approach," one of the elders announced. Its voice was deep and resonant. Ahmed and his team walked to the central platform. Thousands of alien eyes watched them. The weight of scrutiny was overwhelming. "You come seeking recognition," the elder continued. "Speak. Tell us why humanity deserves a place in the galactic community." Ahmed stepped forward. This was it. Everything depended on what he said next. "Elders, distinguished representatives, my species is young. We know this. We've only been in space for a handful of decades. Our technology is primitive compared to most here, but we believe we have something to offer." "What could a primitive species offer?" a voice called from the crowd. Ahmed couldn't see who spoke. "Perspective," Ahmed replied. "We remember what it's like to be new, to struggle, to learn. We won't look down on younger species the way older civilizations might. We understand their challenges because we face them ourselves." "Pretty words," another voice said, "but the galaxy doesn't need more philosophers. It needs strength, capability. What can humans actually contribute?" Dr. Chen stepped forward. "We're innovators. When faced with the Draxian Armada, a force we couldn't match militarily, we found another way. We adapted. We improvised. That creativity is humanity's strength." "You fought with guerrilla tactics," an elder observed. "Some might call that cowardice." "We call it survival," Ahmed said firmly. "We used the resources we had. We turned our weaknesses into strengths. Isn't that what intelligence is? Finding solutions when the obvious path is blocked?" A murmur ran through the chamber. Some aliens seemed impressed, others skeptical. High Admiral Kresh stood up from his seat. I sponsored this petition. I'll speak on the humans' behalf. The elders nodded for him to continue. The humans frustrated me greatly, Kresh said with a slight smile. But they earned my respect. They could have surrendered, could have accepted their fate. Instead, they fought with everything they had: intelligence, courage, determination. These are qualities the galaxy needs. The Draxians praise them because the Draxians lost to them, someone shouted. No, Kresh replied. The Draxians praise them because they showed potential, raw potential. Given time, humanity will become a major power. Better to welcome them now as friends than face them later as rivals. More murmuring. The debate continued for hours. Representatives stood to question the humans. Some questions were hostile, others genuinely curious. A small alien with green skin asked, "How do you handle disputes within your own species? I understand humans were quite fractured before the invasion." Ahmed answered honestly, "We still have disagreements, different cultures, different beliefs, but we've learned to work together. The invasion taught us that our similarities matter more than our differences. We formed the United Earth Alliance not because we all agree, but because we all want to survive and grow. And if that external threat disappears, will you go back to fighting each other?" "Maybe," Ahmed admitted. "We're not perfect, but we're trying to be better. Isn't that what matters? Not where you start, but the direction you're heading?" The questioning went on. The human delegation answered every inquiry as best they could. Sometimes they admitted ignorance. Sometimes they defended their positions. Always they tried to be honest. Finally, the elders called for a vote. The chamber fell silent. All in favor of granting humanity observer status in the Galactic Council indicate now. Lights began to glow across the chamber, green for yes, red for no. The voting lasted several minutes as thousands of representatives made their choice. When it ended, the results appeared on a massive display. Green, 6,247. Red, 2,891. "The motion passes," the elder announced. "Humanity is granted observer status. You may attend council sessions and access the galactic data networks. In 10 years, you may petition for full membership." Relief washed through Ahmed. They had done it. Humanity was recognized. After the session, aliens approached the human delegation. Some offered congratulations. Others wanted to discuss trade agreements. A few were hostile, making it clear they had voted against recognition. The Valari trader Thal appeared, glowing with happiness. "Well done, friends. This is wonderful news. You're officially part of the galaxy now." "We couldn't have done it without allies like you," Dr. Chen said. "Nonsense. You earned this yourselves." Thal lowered its voice. "But be careful. Not everyone here is friendly. Some species view new members as threats or opportunities. Watch your backs." Over the following days, the human delegation met with dozens of species. They negotiated trade agreements, exchanged star charts, learned protocols and customs. Each meeting was a lesson in galactic politics. One evening, Ahmed stood alone on an observation deck, looking at the stars. So many worlds out there, so many species. Humanity was just one small piece of an incomprehensibly large puzzle. "Feeling overwhelmed?" a voice asked. Ahmed turned. An alien stood behind him. It was humanoid, but taller, with skin that seemed to shimmer with inner light. Ahmed didn't recognize the species. "A bit," Ahmed admitted. "Everything is so vast. Sometimes I wonder if we're ready for this." "No species is ever truly ready," the alien said. "We all stumble into the galaxy unprepared. The trick is adapting quickly." "And you are?" "Ambassador Lyra of the Taurian Confederation. We're one of the older species, been in the Council for about 60,000 years. 60,000? Ahmed felt dizzy. How does a civilization last that long? By being flexible, by learning, by accepting that what worked yesterday might not work tomorrow. Lyra looked at the stars. "I've seen many young species join the Council, Most fail within a few centuries. They either destroy themselves or get destroyed by others. That's encouraging, Ahmed said dryly. Lyra smiled. But some succeed. They grow. They adapt. They contribute something meaningful. I think humans might be one of the successful ones. Why? Because you're survivors. You've been through wars, disasters, near extinctions, and you're still here. That resilience is rare, valuable. Bhatti 180 said something similar. Lyra's expression changed, became more serious. Ah, the guardian. You know, most species don't get guardians. They're placed only with species that show exceptional promise. Do you know who places them? No one knows. It's one of the galaxy's great mysteries. The Guardians have existed longer than any current civilization. They appear, they protect, they leave. But the species they protect almost always become important. Almost? Some fail anyway. Free will is powerful. Even Guardians can't prevent every disaster. Lyra turned to leave, then paused. A word of advice, General Ahmed. You've passed your test with the Guardian, but the galaxy will test you far more severely. Stay true to what makes humanity unique. Don't try to become like other species. Your differences are your strength. Lyra walked away, leaving Ahmed alone with his thoughts. The human delegation returned to Earth 3 weeks later. They brought with them agreements, data, and knowledge. But more importantly, they brought proof. Humanity had a place in the galaxy now. They were recognized, acknowledged, real. General Ahmed gave his report to the world leaders. His words were broadcast across Earth and all its colonies. We are no longer alone. We are no longer children. The galaxy knows we exist. Now we must prove we deserve to exist. We must grow, learn, and contribute. The journey ahead will be difficult, but we'll face it together, as one species, as one humanity. Around the world, people watched and listened. Some were excited, others afraid, but all understood. The future had arrived, and humanity had to be ready for it. 20 years after humanity joined the Galactic Council, the solar system looked nothing like it had before. General Ahmed, now old and gray, stood on the observation deck of Unity Station. The station orbited Earth at the same spot where Orbital Station 1 had once been. But Unity Station was 10 times larger, a massive ring structure that housed 100,000 people. Through the windows, he could see ships coming and going, human ships, but also alien vessels. The solar system had become a hub of trade and diplomacy. Earth's location, close to several major trade routes, made it valuable. "General, your visitor has arrived," a young officer said. Ahmed didn't recognize him. So many new faces these days. "Send them in." The door opened. Ambassador Lyra entered, looking exactly as she had 20 years ago. Her species aged slowly. "General Ahmed, it's good to see you again." "Ambassador Lyra, welcome back to Earth." Ahmed gestured to chairs by the window. "I was surprised when you requested this meeting. We don't usually get visits from Taurian ambassadors. I'm here unofficially to check on humanity's progress and to deliver a warning." Ahmed's stomach tightened. "What kind of warning?" "Your species has done well, very well. In 20 years, you've established colonies on 12 worlds. Your trade network spans 40 systems. Your technology has advanced dramatically. You're becoming a regional power. But that success has made you enemies. Some species view your rapid growth as threatening. They remember what happened with the Zaxxons and Draxians. They think humanity is being protected by some hidden force. Bhatti 180 left 20 years ago. We're on our own now. They don't believe that. They think the Guardian is still watching, hidden, ready to protect you if anyone attacks. So they're afraid to confront you directly. If they're afraid to attack, why is that a problem? Because fear breeds resentment, and resentment leads to alliances. Several species are forming a coalition against humanity, not to attack you directly, but to contain you, limit your expansion, strangle your growth. Ahmed absorbed this information. How many species? 15 so far, led by the Korath. You remember them? The slavers you refused 20 years ago? They haven't forgotten that insult. Ahmed did remember. Commander Zek's angry face. The threat to return when the Guardian left. What do they want? They're pushing a resolution in the Galactic Council, a motion to restrict human expansion. No new colonies, no new trade agreements. Basically, freeze humanity at its current level. Can they do that? If they get enough votes, yes. The Council has power to limit aggressive species. The coalition will argue that humanity is expanding too quickly, that you're destabilizing the region. That's absurd. We're following all galactic laws. We're not conquering anyone. Facts don't matter in politics, General. Only perception. And the perception is that humans are dangerous. Ahmed stood and walked to the window. Below, Earth spun peacefully. So much had changed. The planet was cleaner now. United. Prosperous. Humanity had put aside many of its old conflicts to face the galaxy together. What do you suggest we do? Make allies. Real ones. Species who will speak for you in the Council. The Valari already support you. So do a few others, but you need more. How do we convince species to support us? By being valuable. Right now, humans are known for two things: surviving against odds and trading aggressively. You need to show you can contribute more than that. Like what? Lyra smiled. That's for you to figure out. But I'll give you a hint. The galaxy has many problems. Species fighting over resources, pirates raiding trade routes, diseases spreading across systems. If humanity can solve some of these problems, you'll prove your value. After Lyra left, Ahmed called an emergency meeting of Earth's leadership. The meeting was held virtually, as leaders were now spread across multiple systems. The situation is clear, Ahmed told them. We're facing political containment. If we don't act, humanity's growth will be artificially limited. Then we fight, said the Mars governor. We've built a strong fleet. We can defend our interests. Fighting is exactly what they want, Dr. Sarah Chen's daughter said. Her mother had passed away 5 years ago, but the younger Chen had followed in her footsteps. If we fight, we prove we're dangerous. We play into their hands. Dr. Chen is right, Ahmed agreed. We need a different approach. We need to show the galaxy that humanity is an asset, not a threat. How? The European Union president asked. Ahmed thought about Lyra's words. Problems the galaxy faced. Ways humanity could help. We become the galaxy's problem solvers. We look for issues that other species can't or won't handle, and we fix them. Over the next weeks, human intelligence agencies scoured galactic news and reports. They found plenty of problems. The biggest one was in the Outer Rim, a region of space where young species struggled to defend themselves against pirates and raiders. The major powers didn't care about the Outer Rim. No valuable resources, no strategic importance, just weak species trying to survive. Perfect, Ahmed said when he saw the report. We go to the Outer Rim. We help protect those species. We ask nothing in return except friendship. That will cost us resources, someone protested. Ships, personnel, money. It will cost us more to be contained. Think of it as an investment in our political future. The plan was approved. Humanity sent a fleet to the Outer Rim. 20 ships. Not a huge force, but enough to make a difference. The fleet was commanded by Captain Elena Vasquez. She was young, brilliant, and had never lost a battle. More importantly, she understood diplomacy as well as warfare. The fleet arrived in the Outer Rim and began patrolling trade routes. They stopped pirates, protected cargo ships, helped repair damaged stations. They asked for no payment, no territory, no concessions. At first, the local species were suspicious. Why would humans help for free? What was the trick? But as weeks turned to months, the suspicion faded. The humans genuinely seemed to want to help. They fought pirates that had plagued the region for decades. They shared medical supplies during an outbreak. They even helped settle a dispute between two species that had been fighting for years. Word spread. The humans weren't conquerors, they were helpers. On Earth, Ahmed watched the reports with satisfaction. Captain Vasquez was exceeding expectations, but he knew this was just the beginning. "General, we have a problem," an aide said one day. "The Korath are sending ships to the Outer Rim. They say they're there to investigate human activities." Ahmed smiled. "Let them come. They'll see exactly what we're doing. Nothing illegal, nothing aggressive, just helping." Commander Zek, now an admiral, arrived in the Outer Rim with 10 warships. He expected to find humans conquering the weak species, building an empire in secret. Instead, he found human ships escorting trade convoys and fighting pirates. He demanded a meeting with Captain Vasquez. They met on a neutral station. Zek looked older, angrier. His 6 eyes glared at the human captain. "What are you doing here?" he demanded. "Helping," Vasquez replied simply. "Why? What do you gain?" "Friendship, trust, goodwill. Those things have no value in the galaxy." "That's where you're wrong, Admiral. Those things have enormous value. They just don't show up on balance sheets." Zek leaned forward. "I know what you're really doing. You're building allies, creating a power base. You're clever, I'll give you that, but it won't work." "Why not?" "Because the Korath Coalition will stop you. We're pushing a resolution in the Council. Humanity will be contained." Vasquez smiled. "Feel free to push your resolution, Admiral, but you might want to wait a few weeks." "Why?" "Because in a few weeks, 12 species from the Outer Rim will petition to join the Council, and they'll all speak in humanity's favor. They'll tell the galaxy how humans protected them, helped them, asked nothing in return. How do you think that will look for your coalition?" Zek's eyes widened. He hadn't expected this. The humans had outmaneuvered him again. "This isn't over," he growled. "No," Vasquez agreed. "But it's not going the way you planned, is it?" The Korath ships left. The 12 Outer Rim species did exactly what Vasquez predicted. They joined the Council as observers and immediately spoke in support of humanity. When the Korath Coalition pushed their containment resolution, it failed. Badly. Only 30 species voted in favor. Over 7,000 voted against. Humanity has proven itself a responsible member of the galactic community, one of the Council elders announced. The resolution to contain them is rejected. On Earth, celebrations erupted. They had won, not through war, but through showing their character. Ahmed received a message from Ambassador Lyra. It was short. "Well done. You've learned the most important lesson. Power comes in many forms. Sometimes, helping others is the strongest form of all." But not everyone was celebrating. In a dark region of space, far from the galactic center, 3 species met in secret. The Korath were there. So were 2 others who had voted for containment. "The humans defeated us politically," Zek said. "We need a new approach." "What do you suggest?" one of the others asked. "We find something that will destroy humanity's reputation, something that proves they're dangerous. We need to expose them for what they really are." "And if we can't find such evidence?" Zek's smile was cruel. "Then we create it." In his quarters on Unity Station, Ahmed felt uneasy. They had won this round, but he sensed this was far from over. The galaxy was vast and full of dangers. Political ones were often the worst. He looked at the small device on his desk, the one that had started everything. Bhatti 180's button. He kept it as a reminder, a piece of history. "Are you still watching?" he whispered to it. "Are you still there?" The device, of course, didn't answer. The Guardian was gone. Humanity truly was on its own now. But Ahmed couldn't shake the feeling that somewhere, somehow, Bhatti 180 was still paying attention, still observing, still caring about the species it had protected for so long. He hoped so, because humanity still had a long way to go. and the challenges ahead might be greater than anything they had faced before. The attack came without warning. It started in the Outer Rim. Human ships protecting trade routes suddenly found themselves ambushed by unknown vessels. The attacking ships used no identification. Their technology was advanced, their tactics brutal. Captain Vasquez's fleet fought back, but 3 human ships were destroyed before the attackers vanished. 47 crew members died, good people who had come to help others. "General, we have a crisis," the communication came to Ahmed. He was 90 years old now, officially retired, but they still called him in emergencies. He looked at the reports. The attacking ships had planted evidence, wreckage that appeared to come from Outer Rim species. It looked like humans had attacked locals and then been counterattacked. "This is a setup," Ahmed said immediately. "Those weren't Outer Rim ships. Someone's framing us." "The evidence is convincing," the current Earth Defense Minister said. "Several Outer Rim species are already questioning whether they can trust us." Who benefits from this? The Korath Coalition. They've been waiting for an opportunity to damage our reputation. Ahmed felt anger burn in his chest. "Find proof. We need to expose whoever did this." But proof was hard to find. The attacking ships had vanished completely. No debris, no witnesses except the human survivors, and their testimony was dismissed as biased. In the Galactic Council, the Korath presented their case. Commander Zek, now elderly but still bitter, stood before the assembly. The humans claimed to be helpers, peacekeepers. But what really happened in the Outer Rim? They attacked the very species they claimed to protect. This is their true nature: violent, deceptive, dangerous. The human ambassador tried to defend them. "We have no reason to attack those species. They're our allies. This is clearly a frame job." "Convenient excuse," Zek replied. "You have no proof of these mysterious attackers. Only dead Outer Rim civilians and destroyed human ships. The obvious conclusion is that humans attacked and were fought off." The debate raged for days. Some species believed humanity, others didn't. The Outer Rim species themselves were divided. Some stood by their human allies. Others, influenced by fear and propaganda, withdrew their support. On Earth, people watched in horror as their reputation crumbled. 20 years of hard work, 20 years of proving themselves, all of it potentially destroyed by one false flag operation. Ahmed sat in his old quarters, feeling the weight of his years. He had fought so many battles, solved so many problems, but this one seemed impossible. How do you prove a negative? How do you prove you didn't do something when all evidence suggests you did? His hand drifted to the small device on his desk, the button. He had kept it all these years, a reminder of when humanity was young and helpless. "We're not helpless anymore," he whispered. "We can handle this ourselves." But could they? Without proof, without evidence, how could they fight lies? The vote in the council was scheduled for 1 week. If the containment resolution passed this time, humanity's expansion would be halted, possibly forever. They would be marked as dangerous, untrustworthy, confined to their own region of space. Ahmed couldn't let that happen, not after everything humanity had achieved. He pressed the button. Nothing happened. Just like the first time, decades ago. No sound, no light. "I know you're gone," Ahmed said to the empty room. "But if you're still listening somehow, if you still care, we need help. Not military help. We need the truth. We need evidence. That's all." Still nothing. Ahmed felt foolish, an old man talking to a piece of metal. But T-180 was gone, had been for 20 years. Why would it return now? He went to sleep that night feeling defeated. He woke to alarms. "General Ahmed," the call came. "Something's appeared in orbit, something big." Ahmed rushed to the command center of Unity Station. The main screen showed a shape that made his heart stop. A triangle, dark metal, blue energy lines pulsing along its surface. Bhatti 180 had returned. Is it really? Someone whispered. Ahmed opened a channel. Bhatti 180? Hello, General, it's been a long time. Tears came to Ahmed's old eyes. I didn't think you'd come back. I promised I would watch. I've been watching. From far away, but I'm always watching. Did you see what happened? The attack? The frame job? Yes, I saw everything. I have evidence, complete evidence. Video, sensor logs, everything you need to prove your innocence. Why didn't you come forward sooner? Because humanity needed to try to solve this themselves first. You've grown strong, capable, but some problems require help. There's no shame in accepting help when you need it. The Guardian transmitted data to Earth's databases, detailed scans of the attacking ships, proof that they were disguised Korath vessels, video showing Korath crews planting false evidence, everything laid out clearly and undeniably. How did you get this? Ahmed asked. I told you, I've been watching. Just because you can't see me doesn't mean I'm not there. Ahmed felt a mix of emotions, relief, gratitude, but also something else. You've been spying on us? Observing, not spying. There's a difference. I don't watch your private moments or personal lives. I watch for threats, for dangers that humanity might not see coming. This was one of them. Why not just destroy the attackers? Why let them hurt us? Because you needed to face this challenge, to see how far you've come, to prove to yourselves that you can handle political warfare. You did well. You defended yourselves honorably. You sought truth instead of revenge. That shows maturity. The evidence was presented to the Galactic Council the next day. The human ambassador stood before the assembly with Bhatti 180's data. We have proof, she announced. Undeniable proof of who attacked us and why. The data played for all to see. The disguised Korath ships. The planted evidence. Commander Zek's voice on recordings discussing the plan. The chamber erupted. Species who had supported the Korath looked shocked. The Outer Rim species who had doubted humanity apologized. The council elders looked furious. Commander Zek, one elder said coldly, you will answer for this deception. Zek stood, his 6 eyes defiant. This proves nothing. That evidence could be fabricated. It came from Bhatti 180, the elder replied. The Guardian's integrity is unquestioned. It has no reason to lie. The Guardian protects humans. Of course it lies for them. I don't lie. Bhatti 180's voice filled the chamber. The Guardian had joined the session remotely. And I don't protect humans anymore. Not directly. They've graduated from my protection. But I won't allow them to be destroyed by lies and deception. That's not a test of capability. That's just injustice. The vote was swift. The containment resolution was not only rejected, but reversed. The council voted sanctions against the Korath Empire for their false flag attack. Commander Zek was removed from his position and exiled. More importantly, humanity's reputation was restored, strengthened even. The species that had stood by humanity through the crisis became closer allies. Those who had doubted learned a lesson about rushing to judgment. After the vote, Ahmed spoke with Bhatti 180 privately. Will you stay? He asked. No, my work here is done. Again. Will you come back if we need you? Perhaps, but you won't need me. You've proven yourselves, General, not just to me, not just to the galaxy, to yourselves. You know now that you can face any challenge, overcome any obstacle. That confidence is what I've been trying to teach you. What if we fail? What if we make mistakes? You will. All species do, but you'll learn from them. That's what makes humans special. You never give up. You never stop trying to be better. In 50,000 years of watching, I've seen that quality remain constant. Who placed you here? Who built you? Can you tell us now? A pause. Not yet, but soon. When humanity reaches a certain level of advancement, you'll discover it yourselves. That discovery will be one of the most important moments in your history. Can you give us a hint? The builders are watching many young species, not just humans. When all the protected species reach maturity, there will be a meeting, a gathering. That's when you'll learn the full truth. Until then, keep growing, keep learning, keep being human. Bhatti 180 began to move away from Earth. The Great Triangle ship drifted toward the edge of the system. Bhatti 180, wait, Ahmed called. Thank you for everything, for protecting us, for believing in us, for coming back when we needed you. You're welcome, General. It has been my honor to watch over humanity. You've exceeded every expectation. The builders chose well when they placed me here. Will we see you again? When you're ready, when you've reached the stars in your full strength, when you've become the species I always knew you could be, then we'll meet again, as equals. The Guardian vanished, not slowly this time, just gone in an instant, as if it had never been there. But Ahmed knew it was still watching. Somewhere, somehow. Bhatti 180 would always watch, always care, always be ready if humanity truly needed help. He looked around the command center, young officers working, humans and a few aliens side by side. So much had changed, so much growth. General, are you all right? Lieutenant Chen's granddaughter asked. She was an officer now too. 3 generations of one family serving humanity's future. I'm fine, Ahmed said. I'm just thinking about how far we've come. 30 years ago, we were terrified children hiding behind a guardian. Now look at us, trading with hundreds of species, protecting others, making a real difference in the galaxy. Do you think we'll see Bhatti 180 again? Yes, someday, when we're ready, Ahmed smiled. And when that day comes, we'll meet it not as children seeking protection, but as adults ready to stand on our own. That's what it wanted all along. He looked at the stars through the observation window. So much universe out there, so many challenges ahead. But for the first time in his long life, Ahmed felt completely confident about humanity's future. They had been tested by invasion, by political warfare, by their own doubts and fears, and they had passed every test. The galaxy no longer saw humans as weak newcomers. They saw a species with potential, with courage, with the capacity to grow and change and contribute. What do we do now, General? The young officer asked. Ahmed thought about the question. What came after proving yourself? What came after graduation? Now, he said, we build, we explore, we help others the way we were helped. We become the species the galaxy needs us to be. We become worthy not of protection, but of respect. Around Earth, the system bustled with activity, ships coming and going, colonies thriving, humanity reaching out to the stars with confidence and hope. Somewhere in the darkness between galaxies, Bhatti 180 watched. The Guardian's sensors tracked every human ship, every colony, every achievement. And in the machine's vast consciousness, something very much like pride glowed warm. The young species had grown up. The children had become adults. The Guardian's work was done. But the story of humanity? That story was just beginning. The stars waited. The galaxy beckoned. And humanity, no longer afraid, no longer helpless, stepped forward to meet whatever came next. Together, united, strong, ready for anything. The end of one chapter, the beginning of forever.